Alright guys, welcome back to What Could Go Wrong. So today I'm going to be breaking down my Theater of Pain 9 that I did yesterday and kind of how I did things versus how I should have done things a couple of times. But overall, shouldn't be too long of a video and hopefully will help you guys out. So I'm going to start things off by showing the two things that I'm looking at when I invite DPS and when I invite healers. Okay, so it actually took me a minute to get my group going this time around for some reason. I think it's probably because it was early in the morning. But with that being said, big things you want to look at are going to be the spec of the player, their IO, their timed runs, and do they have a raid clear? Okay. The other thing I will give a little disclaimer, make sure you guys are following this cursor, not my in-game cursor. Okay. So what I was saying is I hover over them before I invite them. I hover over them and I look, okay, it's a marksmanship hunter, 2K IO, 7 Theater of Pain, best timed is an 8. He's got some pretty decently timed keys, but he's also got some good raid clears. So this is really what you want to look and make sure that the spec is going to be conducive to the run. Making sure that it doesn't have to be a meta spec, but just make sure that you understand what's happening with the spec. Are they going to do well in here? Is there a lot of single target and they're more of an AoE? Are they more AoE and there's a lot of single target? Basically catering the group to what you need in the dungeon. And that's really what you're looking at. Now, only one thing is going to change when you are looking at a healer. So for healers, the big thing you want to look at is all the same things, but you also want to make sure that their Raider IO in plus score is for healing and that they're not just a DPS who is queuing as a healer to get in a key. Okay, so you want to make sure that they are queued as a healer. You want to make sure that they have IO as a healer. If their IO is lower as a healer than it is as a DPS, or if it just says healer and DPS IO score, go look at their IO page really quick. Just make sure that they've timed some decent keys as a healer and make sure they can keep up, especially with the heal checks in the dungeon. This very first pull of the dungeon is really a simple one, okay? So the way that I have seen a lot of groups do it is they bypass these first three, they cut around, they take this guy, they pull him straight into the boss. I personally do not do that. Um, I grab these three guys and I pull them straight into him. And the reason why I do that is because one, it prevents an accidental pull. It doesn't require any potions or pots or anything like that. And it's an easy 7% to start out the dungeon. Okay. The only thing you have to really worry about is his tantrum, the rampaging tantrum, I believe is what it's called. When that goes off, I think you can still soothe it or de-enrage it. I think hunters can. I'm not sure if you can still do anything about it or not. But that you have to worry about. But that's mostly a healer thing, is making sure everybody's topped off, everybody's good to go. You're keeping people alive. Next up is going to be this guy right here in the middle. Essentially, all you're really looking for is making sure that you keep interrupts and make sure that you have a good interrupt rotation going. That way, there's nothing to worry about there. But you can see, I run down, I jump straight in, I A-bomb limb, I pop my defensives. Now, the only thing that I did that messed up this pull is I did not precast any defensives. That is essentially what really hurt me. Had I have precasted defensives, I don't think I would have dropped nearly as fast, and I don't think the monk would have had to bubble me like they did. So but yeah, you can see, I mean, yeah, you see the tantrum cast going off, it's about to go off. Raging tantrum, and now it's just mass AoE to the whole group, but our healer was ready for it and was able to keep everybody topped off. I think, the way that it played out was great. Now, for this pull, whoops, I went too far back. All right, so the big thing that you have to remember for this boss, okay, is just to picking a direction. So you can see here, I mark where I'm going, and this marker right here is basically telling the whole group I'm pulling right here. Now, the best strategy, I use this in Shadowlands, and I also use it now. Stay on the outside of the room, okay? I didn't do a very good job in this pull. I kind of held this area here, but if you can stay on this little platform right here and just work your way either to the outside or to the inside, think that you'll be fine. The biggest thing is if you see this strategy being used, So many people want to come and run around in the middle. Don't do that. Okay? You really screw your tank over when you do that, and you can essentially mess up the entire strategy by running into this middle area here. Okay? The best the best way that I have found to do this is really just stay on one side or the other and let your tank move. Okay, I'll get into when you're going to decide them in a second. But yeah, that's really the big thing. Like at the start of this pool is if you're pulling to the side here, make sure if you're in the group, make sure that you are staying on the outside edge. Okay, so you can see, get my target, and I come through. Now, right here, we're all kind of stacked up. We're doing our thing. All right. When this frontal goes off, this is when it's decided, are we going to pull around the room to the left? Are we going to pull around the room to the right? That is it. Okay. So when this frontal goes off, the tank has to make a decision. Now, for this pull and for this run, I went this way, right? Because nobody had cut out this way. But if I had DPS cutting this way, I would have cut off to the right and I would have gone around this way. But there, I move off to this side, okay? Now, this is the first mechanic that you need to be aware of. That frontal can and will one-shot you. So you want to be careful. Make sure you're not standing in front of it. If you go behind the boss, make sure you're staying far enough back that you don't get caught in the clips because the frontal, from what I've noticed, I don't know if it's a bug or not, but it is the whole boss from behind the boss all the way forward. So if you're in their little area, you will 100% get clipped with that frontal, and it can and will kill you. Okay. So next up is going to be the interrupt. So you'll see necrotic bolt, right? These necrotic bolts have got to be interrupted. Okay. We didn't interrupt very well this time around, but we did the best we could. So you'll see, and now we get these little green circles. Okay. These green circles are going to leave goo on the ground. And again, it can mess up your run. If these are like all over the place and if they're in the way of the tank and if they're just scattered and you've got a clear space here, but this whole area is covered. Now you have to run through that to get to the clear space. It's a mess. So it didn't, like I said, it didn't exactly go the way that it should have. But ideally, you want these green circles on the outermost edges as best as you can. It's not always going to be perfect, but if you can keep it on these outer edges, you move around. Then once you get back around, the tank just steps in and then just does the exact same thing, and you just keep going. I believe you can get 4 circles before you're stuck in the middle. Okay, and by that time, the boss should definitely be dead. Okay, that's really all there is to this boss. It's super simple. You can kind of see, like, we did pretty well. Oh, Searing Death. Okay, so this is a magic strike, primarily for the healer. It's on the healer to make sure everybody stays topped off. Death Knights and Paladins, I know that you can bubble an anti-magic shield. You can throw an anti-magic zone down. There are ways that you can help your group out there. So make sure you're utilizing your utility. But healers, this is really for you. Just making sure everybody stays topped off, making sure that after it goes off that everybody's good to go, all kinds of things. So you can see, like, I didn't pop any personal, and the reason why I didn't pop any personal here. So if you look here, I see that my health is staying 80-90%, and I've got this yellow bubble right here. That is my absorbs. So I've still got absorbs going on. And I've got runic power, and I have defensives up. Okay. So once it goes off, I precast a defensive just to be safe. Now it goes off. It drops me to 72% health and gives me a purple bubble, which is the purple bubble is my healing absorb. Okay. So after I get hit with the damage, I already know to get rid of that healing absorb and to get myself topped back up, all I need is Death Strike. That Death Strike should take me back up, and if it doesn't, I have Vampiric Blood that will top me off. Now, I ended up popping a Vampiric Blood anyways just to be safe here because I knew the healer was probably going to have some stuff to deal with, things like that. But yeah, that's this fight. There's our frontal again, and we're getting ready to just do the exact same thing. All right. Now, once you land down here, you have 3 different options. You can go straight up this side, you can go straight off to this side, or you can cut back this way. Normally, I cut this way because I consider this to be the easier way to go. Then I go back here because the first room is difficult, but it is what it is. After that, it's pretty simple. Then I cut up here and I do this because I consider this to be the hardest way to go. Now, with this being the hardest way to go, this can and will break your key, and it will cause the group to leave. So that's why I went this way, just in case, just to see what would happen and to make sure that we were actually going to be good. So we go this way. I mark it for my group. All right. So once you cover these stairs, you see those two guys fighting in the background here. Then you've got these guys fighting right here, or these guys right here. I did not do it this time because I was a little nervous about my pulling and my survivability, so I was trying to play it a little bit safer. So normally I pull them straight into there. I didn't do it this time, but again, I was just trying to make sure that I could actually survive what was going on. So we come in, we're going to take these guys out and jump forward. All right, so finally get those guys down. Now, this guy back here, okay, really, there's only one mechanic to think about, and he's going to put some swirlies on the ground that are spinning axes. Now, I did not do this because I messed up this pull. It was a tank fail. But normally, you're going to pull him off to this side over here, pull him straight back here, pull him back over here, something so that you can move in a circle around that room. Okay, you'll see I just kind of tanked him straight in the middle. And then by the time I realized what I had done, it was already too late. My moment of realization was as soon as these swirlies go down. So these go down, and in general, if you're off on the edge of the room, then they'll sit on the edge of the room, and you can just pull around the room. Ranged DPS and ranged healers is super important that you are hugging these walls when that happens. Otherwise, these get thrown in the middle of the room, and you mess everything up. Okay. So this is when I realized that I made a mistake and I needed to move and there was nothing I could do. I just had to hope that we were going to get through this. Okay? Right here. Okay. So this guy in the middle, we're going to attack him right out the gate. We're going to get him down to about 50% so everybody has a chance to blow their cooldowns and hit him hard and he's down in health and then we're ready to go again. But I try to get him to about 50% health and then I come over here and I pull these pathers on that bridge. Okay. The only reason this did not happen this time around is I my game crashed on me. So I unfortunately wasn't able to do that. They had to clear the sky without me. But it all ended up working out overall. Okay. But in general, that's really what you want to do is blow your cooldowns on that guy and then just pull that other group because there's nothing big with them. I mean, they hit your tank pretty hard, but outside of that, like you don't need a whole lot to deal with them. Then you get everything cleared. I have seen it work successfully. I don't think I've ever seen it like go bad because we didn't have cooldowns or something. So it all seemed to work out and everybody's able to cleave and then you've got your cooldowns ready to go for the next pull. Okay. So play it here. So we come down and we're going to hit him. You can see I kind of move off to this side over here. So I'm in position. Now all I have to do is run sideways straight across and I am good to go. Okay. And then my game is going to crash here in a second. All right. So now I got back into the game. I got everything set up. You can see I come down, I target, no hesitation, straight in this group. I kill this group. Now, what I could have done here with my abomination limit up and everything, I could have just gone straight down this hallway into the other group. Didn't really do it because I was like, yeah, they're already right here. Let's just go. So like I said, there's nothing too crazy going on with these guys. Mostly just like tank busters. There's a couple of things for the healer to keep up with, but not anything too crazy. All right, this boss right here. Okay, I see a lot of tanks try and tank him in the middle and just kite around the room, stuff like that. The easiest way to do it, pull them wherever you pull them. When the swirlies come out, start moving up the stairs towards the boss. One, you are saving yourself time in running. Two, you are saving yourself finding a clean area for everybody. So that's really all you have to do. And I'll show it here. So I drop that down. I come back. I'm off over here. And the swirlies come out. And I mark where I'm going to go as well. So my whole group knows that it's time to move. So yep, you see I throw out a marker for where I'm going to stop so everybody knows where they can stand. And we just keep doing that all the way up to the boss. All right. See, we did it again up the stairs. So this boss in general, this is a very, very easy boss. Tanks, you're gonna get smacked around a little bit, but it's a very easy boss. So you wait for everybody to get in the room, otherwise it'll lock them out. So everybody gets in the room. The very first thing that you deal with is a banner. He's gonna put out a banner that has to be killed. So your banner's out. Then he does this little half room circle, does a little circle around himself. Then it just goes back into normal tanking mechanics. He's gonna chain two people, throw them down the way. Then they're gonna fight it out down there. We're gonna keep fighting them up here. Once one person dies down there and everything, they come back up with 100% health. Okay. Then we have a banner to deal with, and we also have this straight line frontal. Just don't stand in it. Immediately into the half moon or the half a room. Immediately into the circle around him. Jumping in the middle of the room. Does a straight line, half the room, circle around himself, straight back into chains, straight back into fighting him, and then he pulls a banner, does his half moon, circle around himself, straight line. It's rinse and repeat every single time. Okay, so we'll go ahead and skip through. Nothing important happened here. All right, next up is this room. Okay, mark where you're going to go next. So I took this easier path up here. So we go up here. So this area right here, the best way to do this is you'll see I'm typing in chat, don't stop, letting my group know to keep going. We're going to go all the way down. We're going to cut that left, and we're going to go all the way down, and we're going to LOS. Okay. So I let my group know not to stop. Go back. So I round that corner. My healer puts a bubble on me to help make sure that I'm good to go, so I'm not taking a whole lot of damage while they're out of range. And I LOS everything, so when they have to round the corner, I already know, okay, I need to get aggro on that. Oh, I need to get aggro on that. Oh, I need to get aggro on that. I already know. Now, once you get these down to like last 2 or 3, you can run down the stairs. You can kill them all right here. It really doesn't matter. The only other big thing that you need to do is once you come down the stairs and you kill this guy, you are going to get the orb. The best way to do this orb that I have found is the first one you're going to take to the left side, take that portal. The second one you want to take to the right side, okay? Most of these don't really matter. It's just normal add mechanics. But once you get this one, you can go straight up the middle. You have to in order to get the orb. So we kill him, and then I get the orb from him again, and I go to the left hand side. So we go to the right side. I'm sorry, I go to the right side. What that does is it helps us avoid a really, really destructive platform. And it creates it so we can just, once again, just run straight down the middle, take on this Soul Forge Bone Cleaver, and we're just going to chill. After that, we move to this platform here. So the platform that we avoided by going left and then right, these nefarious dark speakers, there are 2 of them in the middle. You run the risk of if you try to route around them, somebody accidentally pulls. If you try to go through them, people are going to get launched off the edges left and right. It's a nightmare. Okay. You can actually see our paladin got knocked off the edge. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you're trying to deal with 2 of these, especially if they're trying to go the same way, so it's going to circle around and it launches our paladin off. He's already dead. He's out of the fight. That's a problem, especially if you have 2 of them plus other adds. Okay. The only other big thing you need to do on this platform is once you land on the final platform, click this so that your whole group, if you wipe, if somebody dies, they can just route right back to this platform just to be on the safe side. Okay. Now, this boss, all right, it's pretty simple, very straightforward. So you're just gonna attack the boss. You're doing your thing. Very, very just tank and spank style mechanics. All right, these balls that are orbiting the room, it's all magic damage, and so essentially you can throw it down AMZ, you can throw it down AMS. Now, that right there, so these green lines, you can kind of see them here. That is a frontal just on the tank. It is so important, tank, that you turn that away from your group as best as you can. All right. It really does, it hits decently hard, but in general, you don't want that to go under your DPS. So I kind of move out of the way. Boom. I just really, as a DK, I can let these kind of naturally hit me because they boost up my death strikes, and so like I'll let him hit me if I'm doing decent in health. Then I get hit a little bit and I'm good. Okay. So the next thing that happens, you all get these green arrows on you. At this point, it is 100% vital that you stack as a group. Okay. You're going to stay stacked up, and then DPS and the healer are going to kill those ads. Okay. That is your main purpose in life. The tank is going to go back to the boss. The DPS and the healers are going to kill the ads. Once the ads are dead, you're going to get back on the boss. That's really all there is to it. I mean, there's a couple heal checks and there are some things that like healers are going to have to watch out for, but in general, that's really this fight. So we just kind of rinse and repeat. Very, very simple. So this room, okay, this is one of the more dangerous spots. This first room can be dangerous because you have these little dudes that are like outlined in green. They like to jump around and hit random people. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to kill those, get those guys dead first, and then move on to the next group and just keep going that way. Okay. When they do die, they're gonna put these swirlies on the ground that will kill you. AMZ can help you ignore it. Or AMS, excuse me. AMS will help you ignore it. You can interrupt their cast, but still, now we got all them dead. So I move on to the next group. I'm pulling my aggro's around. I'm making sure that I've got aggro on everything. I've got my A-bomb limb is out, so I can try and keep everything grouped up, and then there you see it. Yep, they explode. We start pulling in more groups. We start doing more things. We're just chilling. So then we're just making sure we keep up with the interrupts, stuns, whatever we can do. Moving out of everything, moving into the hallway, turning around. And that's really all there is to it. Okay. So from what I have seen is you really have to kill one of these guys, unfortunately. So I just grab the one. I always route to the left. I don't know why. It really doesn't make a difference if you go left or right here. The big thing with these ads is you can see that that's just a disorientate that you really can't do anything about. Then throws a little crap on the ground, so you just kind of move him, kite him around the room based off of the green circles. I don't know what I was doing here, but yeah. See, my mistake got that hunter killed. Okay. So then I move back around the room a little bit, just so on and so forth. So just make sure whichever way you start going, just keep going that way till you get them killed. Now, this next part of the dungeon, these next set of pulls, so I tend to just tank this top side group the same way I did the first room. So once the guys who are jumping around everywhere are done and gone, once they die, I'll kind of chain into the next group. Um, you don't have to. You can take these guys at the top. You see how I do that, and then like I throw my death and decay down to get in it again. So I'm taking reduced damage and I start pulling people in. I did end up pulling that guy, that rancid gasser. I'm not sure why I did that. I usually will like keep kiting backwards so I can get the guys who are gonna jump down. Um, Honestly, I'm not 100% sure why I pulled that pulled this way. It may have just been one of those like split second decisions. Oh, hey, I can do this. All right, so now we've got these guys going down. I'm automatically throwing out my A-bomb limb, and I get hit with the stun. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about it. And I'm getting everybody grouped back up, making sure I've got threat table, making sure I'm moving out of the way, and that's all there is to it. All right, so next up, we're gonna get into Gore Chop. All right, Gore Chop really only has two mechanics that you have to worry about. One, he's gonna call ads down, and they kind of jump around the room, hitting people. So you want to kill them as best you can, but you also want to like make sure you're still attacking Gore Chop. Two, he drops those chains, and then he does that AoE circle around himself. What that AoE does is it pulls the whole group in to one area wherever the boss is standing, and that way you all get hit by the chains. So once he does that, anything you have to increase your speed, you want to make sure you do it, or you just want to run away from the chains. You'll always be able to tell like where the ads were at because they drop those little things when they die, like normal. That's really all there is to it. So unfortunately, by the time we had finished Gore Chop, we were pretty much out of time for the dungeon. A lot of that fell on me just because like I did have the game connection problems. We lost 3 minutes, which was really a boss fight. So in reality, we should have started this boss at like probably 9 minutes as opposed to 6 minutes. So it happens, unfortunately. I mean, everybody was good. We were a good sport about it, which it kind of did work out because we did have a lot of issues with the final boss. Okay, we had to take 3 attempts on the boss. There we go. Okay, so after a couple failed attempts, go in, we pull the boss. I try to face the boss away from the group so they're not running around doing stuff. And the big thing to worry about during phase one, all right, is she's gonna do a little frontal thing. Just make sure you're standing behind her. We're all good to go. And then that's really the major thing for now. Next thing she's gonna hit us with are these green circles. So she hits us with these, and then you want to do your best to get them grouped in and kill them as fast as possible. So it's just that's what we did, and then we gotta watch that frontal's coming again. You see, I didn't get out of the way of it, so it does happen. Something I've noticed is like sometimes she spins with this frontal, and sometimes she doesn't. So just make sure you're watching like what's going on there. And then she summons this little portal thing, which is gonna pull you in, so you want to run away. Death Knight's Death Advance does help you ignore that. And then we're just gonna keep going. And that's really all of phase one is that right. So now we get into phase two. All right, which she phases, I believe, at 50% health. She's gonna phase. Yep, there's Echo of Carnage. We're still hitting. This is when you want to lust. All right. Now, big thing is just don't stand in those swirlies around the ads. And then watch the corners of the Coliseum because that is where you're going to have these little charge things. They're kind of knockbacks for you. I don't think they do a whole lot of damage, but I could be wrong about that. I don't. I usually try to avoid them. I think I got hit by one at one point. But really, what you're trying to do here is you're just doing bosses, and phase one mechanics and phase two mechanics are going to be really the same. It's a lot of the same thing. You definitely just you want to kill those ads as fast as you can. You want to avoid the frontal. You want to avoid the ads, and then you want to stay away from the spawn groups. But really, that's all there is to it. Um, like I said, we did kind of struggle on this last boss. I think a couple of us made some simple mistakes, little things that we just couldn't really come back from, unfortunately. But we also entered the first pull was I mean we it was like I think a minute and a half left on the dungeon, so like we all knew it wasn't going to be time, but we did get that completion just for the guild for the vault, get that upgraded piece of gear hopefully. There you have it, guys. That is the end of this video. Like I said, unfortunately, did not end up getting it timed, but that is kind of how the pulls go for a +9, or the way that I do the pulls on a +9 in Theater of Pain. Um, all in all, a couple mistakes, a few things that like I could have done better at, few pulls that I should have made different and done better, which would have saved us a couple of deaths. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the game. You live and you learn, and um, yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this style of video and if you like this style of content, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. If you guys saw something I missed, if you guys saw some polls that I could have done differently, like by all means, let me know in the comments. And all in all, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.